with just the jab.
Okay, so we're starting with our jab initially, and you see she's doing a very good job of taking her hand right to the target. She doesn't want to drop her hand down. She doesn't want to pull that hand back. She wants to go from her chin, straight line, to her target that she's hitting. That way she's not staging or telegraphing that punch.
All right, so next we're going to work on just turning the thumb down more, so that way the elbow comes above the wrist. That way when my elbow comes above my wrist, it raises my shoulder up to protect my jaw. And it also is going to allow me to hit with my striking knuckles if I'm punching up, as opposed to punching with my front knuckles.
So turning our thumb down or pinky up to the sky, that's going to put our wrist in line with our elbow, which is going to be in line with our shoulder. If I can get all my joints in alignment, that's going to make my arm straight and give me more striking power. I don't want my arm bent at all, where my elbow is lower than my wrist. That's going to make for poor striking surfaces.
So what you're doing right now is, before you throw your jab, you're turning your hand to start your punch. So this get used to like just punching it, just snapping it right off your jaw. Make sense? Yeah. Just don't turn your hand first.
Quick tip for everyone out there coaching. Notice I'm only giving her a few corrections at a time, just one or two. I don't want to bombard her with a lot of corrections, because at that point, whoever you're training will get confused, and they also get just really frustrated thinking they cannot do anything correctly.
All right, let's take a look at the double jab. All right, so on our double jab, we're going to make sure we throw our jab, bring it all the way back to our chin again, then throw it the second time. So what we don't want to do is throw two jabs and have that second jab be like a little pat jab. We want both jabs to be long and full.
So she's throwing two long jabs. She's getting great length on that jab, which is going to dictate the space that the fight occurs in. And she's making sure that she brings her hand right back to her face every time she throws that jab. That way she's always covered. Notice that she's also keeping her left hand high. That way she's not sacrificing any defense on the left side.
Back to our double, same thing. Two long jabs, making sure we turn our elbow higher than our wrist.
Also take a look at her feet. You'll see that every time her hand moves, her foot moves. So when that jab is coming out, she wants that right foot moving as well. That's going to keep her stance balanced, and it's going to keep her from reaching for her opponent. That way, when they're moving, she's also in motion with them.
All right, now, if I call out one, she's going to throw a single jab. If I call out double, she's going to throw a double. Making sure she's turning her elbow higher than her wrist, and always resetting her hand back to her face before she throws her second jab. Double. Double. One. 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 Double. 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 One. 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 Double. 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 One. 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 Double. Good. So on that set, your elbow wasn't rotating enough. So just make sure you overemphasize that rotation, especially when I have that mid up high. That way, you're getting your hand turned over enough, as opposed to using the front part of your knuckles. Double. Double. One. 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 Double. 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 One. 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 Double. 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 Go for the double. One. All right, so a good way to think about throwing your cross is don't think about punching with your hand. Think about pulling your front shoulder back. So when I pull my front shoulder back, that's going to cause my hips to rotate, my knee to rotate, and I'll generate power through my striking zone. If I don't pull that hand back or my shoulder back, and I think about just punching, now I'm just arm punching instead of using my torso to generate power. So really focus on pulling your front shoulder back as you throw your cross, which is going to push your back hip through the striking zone. So really pull that shoulder back. Don't worry about your hand coming forward. Just pull back. Ready? Get back. Another thing I want to make sure I think about when I'm throwing my cross is taking a gather step with my back foot. That way I'm not reaching for my target and off balance. All right, so I'm going to take that back step in, just a tiny step. As I take my tiny step in, I'm going to turn my knee to my opponent, which is actually turning my hips to the person that I want to hit. Go again, gesture cross. Step. Good. Two more. Good. So next, we're going to go over our standard 2. So when we say 2, we mean an actual jab cross, not just the cross. So when we throw our 2, we're going to throw our jab, we're going to take a step, we're going to take a tiny step, gathering with our back foot, our cross, and we're going to pull that jab hand back, which is going to push forward our cross hand. Okay.
Once again, she's making sure she keeps her hands up high, always having a high guard. She's taking her hands straight to the target. She's not flaring her elbows out. She's not throwing an overhand right. She's throwing a straight cross. And she's making sure her hands come back to her face immediately after she throws that hand. That way she's always covered defensively.
Another thing that we want to make sure that we not do when we throw our cross, we don't want to throw our cross over top of our jab. You hold this for me? So you see this a lot when people throw their jab cross. So they throw their jab, their jab comes down, they throw their cross over top of their jab. So we don't want to do that at all. We want to make sure we're throwing everything parallel on the same line. So jab, cross, jab, cross, jab, cross. We don't want to go jab, cross over top, because now my whole right side is open and I don't want my side to be open. Same thing. She's turning. Back up, Ray. Okay, so now we're going to build on what we started with. We're going to start with this, our jab cross, or our double jab. All right, so if she sees one mitt up, she'll throw her jab. If she sees both mitts up, she'll throw her jab cross. If I say double, then she'll throw a double jab. All right, very simple. Hey, Rhea, stay over here for now. Over here. Now. All right. Ready? double, 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 double. Don't push it. Tie. So as you can see, when she threw her cross by herself the first time, she just pushed her arm out. So that's why we got to make sure that we take that gather step in, keep our torso up straight, and pull our shoulder back. That way we're not just arm punching or pushing our cross out there. So gather step in, stand up straight, pull your shoulder back. And that will keep you from reaching for your opponent. Same thing. Double, double, double. Step, step. Good. Step in. Good. Double, double. Step, step. Good. Step forward. Good. Double, double. Step, step, double, double, double. Step, step, double, time.